They said that, I believe the quote was, there was mistakes made inside the company. I believe that was a quote. But basically what they were trying to say was that mistakes were made, but it wasn't that whole executive knew about it, and they were just telling them to do it on purpose. So they admitted to the mistake, but they still denied that like it was the whole company's fault. That kind of goes into point two. They kind of gave the blame to some basically engineers who designed the system, and they kind of said not us, but people in the company. They were pretty restrictive of information. This whole claim, and they still are pretty restrictive. But I think they gave enough information to let the media know what's going on, so the public and their stakeholders, so they can make sure that everything's good. They did explain the nature of the event. They explained that what happened was it was found that they were cheated on the emission test, and they take some corrective action later on down the list. But they did one thing they did target it was the stakeholders. They wanted to make sure that stakeholders kept in the bonds and stuff like that and Volkswagen, so they can still have some good money coming in. I didn't find anything with them downplaying the crisis. I found a lot of stuff about mortification and the corrective action and the compensation and like more denying aspect. It was, and then they didn't really do a whole lot of it was a blot on the great organization. They didn't really do a whole lot on that either. At least I didn't find anything. It was kind of hard to challenge the credibility because it was the EPA that found them. So obviously it's the government trying to get them down, but it's kind of hard to challenge the credibility of the EPA. Another thing they did do was offer compensation. They believe it said it was like $1,000 in buyback of the vehicles. There's certain vehicle models that they're going to buy back and correct it, and then if they want it, believe they wanted to, they can buy another or trade it in for another model that didn't have the problem. The one corrective action is said that they were gonna fix it by 2018, so next year. So I guess these models should be fixed. So hopefully that takes place and they can get back to being a great company that everyone really likes their cars and stuff. Mortification. I'm gonna show you a video here in a second that really shows the CEO. He's really saying he's apologizing. He is saying, yeah, we made mistakes and we're gonna try to fix it as best we can. So I'm gonna show you that video right now. It's not showing up. We can watch on this. Can I watch on this? All right, so basically, I mean, he just basically pretty much summed up what they're trying to
Is your mind made up on Chevy
what they're trying to do. But
F-150 first. You'll find that F-150 has a lot more going for it. F-150 delivers a best-in-class 3,200.
so basically, they're trying to. He summed up crisis communication image restoration theory pretty much right there. He's saying he's trying to get back. He's trying to restore the image of the company. They're trying to find solutions so they can become favorable back in the American eyes, and for the consumers that really like Volkswagen. I'm sure they have a lot of people that just want to just buy Volkswagen after Volkswagen. But like I said, he just pretty much just summed up stuff that I've just said, and it's right there. Good example. So, and to kind of wrap it all up, I'm going to offer my opinion and my overall critique of how I thought Volkswagen did in this crisis communication example case study. I thought they did a pretty fairly good job in terms of the list I gave out and kind of went down. I think they could have done a little bit better, but like I said, the stuff they were missing I think it would have really helped them out. But I think in terms of image restoration theory, I think Volkswagen is a good company to kind of watch if your company or your organization you're working for ever gets in a bad crisis. I think that's a good company to kind of go back to and go, what did they do and how can we learn from it and see how we can do stuff better and repeat the stuff they did good. So I think my key takeaways from this is that the company, one thing they did very well is the company stayed in sync with each other. There wasn't like one side of the company saying, oh, this is what's happening, and the other side was like, this is what happened. It's like kind of just conflicting each other. That never happened. They were on point with staying on with each other, and they were really good at doing that. And I think that's really key in terms of trying to like communicate what's going on, what are you going to do to fix it, and stuff like that. Another thing I thought they did really well is I thought at first when I was reading this case, I thought it would be I was like, man, why aren't they just admitting to everything? Because like they messed up. They're all and then after I kind of got into more image restoration theory, I learned that maybe it's always not the best route to just admit everything. That sometimes denying the crisis is probably a better option, so you can set yourself up for a better image restoration theory. So that was my speech. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you guys learned something today.